What is up, everyone? We are back today, and we have another book summary today from Your Infinite Power to Be Rich by Joseph Murphy. So this book is pretty engaging. It is a practical book filled with hundreds of stories and life lessons, focusing on helping the individual use their subconscious mind to obtain prosperity and riches. That is the subject of this book. It starts off with a Bible quote: "I am come that they might have a life, and that they might have it more abundantly." John 10:10. God is the giver and the gift, man is the receiver. God dwells in man, and this means that the treasure house of infinite riches is within you and all around you. If you canst believe, all things are possible. If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Mark 9:23. And again, we have these messages that are written in this way that is more convoluted when spoken, when compared to our modern day English. I really like the way that Napoleon Hill kind of says this when he says, "What the mind can believe, can conceive and believe, it can achieve." And I feel as if that is another more succinct and easier to grasp way of getting this message across. So we have some bullet points here. So there is no virtue whatsoever in poverty, which in actual fact is a mental disease, and it should be abolished from the face of the earth. These are Joseph Murphy's words again here. So the science of getting rich is understanding the cosmic law that like thoughts always produce like effects. Therefore, any man who boldly claims the riches of the infinite will receive them. 4. These are numbered here. So nature is lavish, extravagant, and bountiful. Man's shortage and lack come because of his maldistribution and abuse of nature's bounty. 5. You know that the infinite source is inexhaustible. It is the fountain that never runs dry. All things in this universe are made out of one universal primordial substance. The only difference between copper, lead, gold, silver, wood, stones, or the watch on your wrist is the number and rate of motion of the electrons revolving around a nucleus. So everything is literally made out of the universal substance. Which is interesting that there is this point in this, because I don't know that at the time of Joseph Murphy, well, this was written in 1966, so maybe there was research being conducted on this. However, now in our present day, in the 21st century, we know that we just have so much more data and science to back up what a lot of these teachers have talked about for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Some of these teachers, the people that wrote the Kabbalion, the Hermeticism, the study of Hermetics, the Kabbalah, these ancient traditions with wisdom, ancient, Ayurvedic practices, all from all over the world. They share a lot of insight and knowledge that has been passed down, that now we have science backing a lot of these things up. So it's really interesting to see that. So riches are all around you for the simple reason that the divine presence, though invisible, is omnipresent. It is like the air around us. There is no shortage of it. Each man can breathe in all he wants, and there is still an endless supply of air left. Great analogy right there. Tapping into this source, this universal energy, we can see that yes, there is plenty of there's plenty of oxygen in the air. There's plenty of supply for us to all breathe. There's an endless supply almost of air on this earth. And another interesting thing I like to think about too is when people get in the mindset of, scarcity and scarce resources, I like to think and use the analogy that when you download something like a digital download, or let's say that you're watching this video, it's not an exhaustible resource. Like maybe there is some memory and cells somewhere and hard drive data and RAM that is being used up by watching something, but really you can make an infinite number of copies, and that is the same type of way that I feel like he's discussing here, where it's like if you download an ebook, you can download infinite, as many people as you want can download that ebook, and it doesn't diminish the quality. And so it's an interesting way of thinking about things. So we have number 7 here. So every created thing, every form, and every presence, and every process you see in this universe is the visible manifestation of a thought of infinite intelligence or a universal mind. You cannot create anything in this world until you have thought that something into existence. And I like this because infinite intelligence or a universal mind, we see this come up time and time again in the Kabbalion. They call it the all. A lot of people call it source energy. Napoleon Hill, Joseph Murphy call it infinite intelligence. Whatever you want to call it, God, that's what Neville would call it probably. This universal substance that everything is a part of and comes from, and the end, is the beginning and the end of everything, is operating on using the same mental, that's what it talks about in the Kabbalion. It is mental. The operating system for the universe is awareness. It is mentalism. It is imaginings. And so whatever is being created has to be imagined, whether it's through our own human conscious mind or some higher, whatever it is, source energy, or these other higher levels of vibrational energy that we can't see, and we do not possess the ability to discern. It is all being used, it's being done at a higher level to create the world around us. So number 8, he that is within you is greater than he that is in the world. John 4:4. The realization that in the depth of my being there dwells God and his wisdom and power gives me confidence and assurance. So again, it's like a holographic universe. It's like you are a fractal of this higher being. And so that this higher energy, this wisdom, this super powerful energy is within you. So you have access to it. You can tap into it. 9, remember that the creator is greater than his creation. The thinker is greater than his thoughts. The artist is greater than his art. Do not give power to sticks and stones or to any external thing or event. 10, conditions and circumstances are not creative. The creative power is in your thought and feeling rather than in the false and limiting externalities. 11, by blessing others, you also bless yourself, and all sense of inferiority and lack were overcome. The block to riches is in the inner recesses of your mind. Envy of others will block your flow of riches and will attract misery and penury. 12, you go exactly where your vision is. Hold a mental picture of what you want to accomplish and back it up with feeling, and it will come to pass. Then there's a quote, it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, from Luke 12:32. 13, and this is in bold here, this is how to think in a certain way. Suppose you need a piano to practice on. However, you don't have the money with which to buy it. Think of a lovely piano. See it in your room, in your imagination. Run your hands over the keys, touch them, and feel the solidity, the naturalness, and the tangibility of it all. Move your hands over the surface and think with positive certainty that the piano is right there. It is there in your mind because the piano was first a thought in the mind of the maker. After forming the thought of the piano in your mind, claim it as yours now and know that your subconscious mind will see to it that you receive it in divine order. The infinite intelligence within your subconscious mind will act in the minds of others and eventually will come to pass in ways you know not of. I wholeheartedly recommend this book to Joseph Murphy followers. It's a great book to get you going in the path to prosperity in your life. So we have, there's some comments here. This post is on Reddit here. So it's, thanks for the excellent book report. I'm near the end of reading that book, and I've been reading it with a highlighter in my hand and marking it as I go. After the first read, I'll go over it again and read my highlights. Yeah, so, it's interesting, this last point about the piano, because I actually have a video that I just shot, me and Devin and Mochi, our Siamese kitten, who is sleeping right up here right now. You can't really see him that well, but, There he is. And then Lucifer is actually up at the top. He's on the top floor. He just got up there, and we just took him to the vet just now. But the video that we have about Mochi, basically introducing Mochi, talking about the story of how he came upon us, of how we happened upon him, because we had been wanting a Siamese cat, a Siamese kitten, Balinese. Balinese is like a breed that has longer hair, that is basically branched off of the Siamese. But anyways, the interesting thing about him is that we had been looking at these cats. We'd been looking at pictures of these cats. We had been imagining having this cat here, having them getting along perfectly, having them both be like playmates and just best friends, best of buds, like two peas in a pod. And so it literally is the case. They have gotten along so well, even from first bringing Mochi over here, that it's been amazing to witness. And not only that, but this particular Siamese, which is like a seal point Siamese, and it is very iconic looking, and it's very like striking with the blue eyes and the darker face. And his pattern, his fur will darken up over time. But these cats are kind of rare, and they're also pretty expensive. They're pretty rare, sought after. And we basically, like me and Devin, I mean, I know for me personally, I just imagined this cat being here. I imagined this cat chilling in the house. And I also imagined this cat tree being here as well, because I got this cat tree. It's like the coolest, most aesthetic cat tree that I've ever seen. You can switch the things around. There's like multiple levels behind the couch. You can't really see the whole thing. Maybe I'll show you guys. We'll get like some more footage of it that we can put in the Mochi video. But basically, through just imagining and feeling like as if this is already here, this is what we talk about. There wasn't this attachment to it. It was just like, yeah, like Mochi, like this kitten is here. We have the Siamese kitten. He looks exactly how we've been imagining him. He gets along with Lucifer perfectly. He even gets along with Devin's dog, Sadie. He even is just alert and curious and very social and friendly, just like Lucifer. Because cats, you know, in my experience, most cats I've met are very antisocial. And Lucifer is just the most social cat I've ever met in my entire life. And we were basically intending that this cat was going to have a very similar personality, be very open, very sociable. And Lucifer will literally, if you guys seen the video with Connor, he will literally just get on people's laps who come over to visit. And I've never seen that type of behavior in a cat before, but it looks like Mochi has the same kind of curiosity and openness, almost like a dog, that Lucifer has. So it's really interesting, you know, with these things, like he mentions a piano in this example, and I'm mentioning Mochi the cat right now, the kitten. These things, like maybe somebody would be very, very serious and putting pressure on a situation with something like this, but I don't think for the most people they wouldn't. But the tendency is that we put a lot of pressure around career, around love, around money, around certain subjects which are very important to us, health issues. And that is why it's harder for us to bring that about in the way that we imagine, in the same smooth way that I effortlessly almost am able to imagine that we have this kitten in here and we have this tree set up and everything's going well and they're getting along, and it just almost creating space for that to be a reality, like a line, what is it called? Not a line, a parallel reality in which that is in existence. We can do the same thing, but it takes like doing this, like getting into this practice. What he describes here with this visualization, it's more than just a visual. It is engaging the other senses. It is think of a lovely piano, see it in your room. Just as I imagined this cat here, I imagined his little, like him meowing. I imagined their interactions, them tussling together. See it in your room, see it in your imagination. Run your hands over the keys. Imagine whatever it is. Like I imagine the tactile sensation of petting Mochi. Think with positive certainty that the piano is right there, that the cat is right there. It is there in your mind because the piano was first, it is there in your mind because the piano was first a thought in the mind of the maker. It was a thought. Everything starts out as a thought, and then it has the ability, it has the chance to materialize in the 3D reality. After forming the thought of the piano in your mind, claim it as yours now and know that your subconscious mind will see to it that you receive it in divine order. The infinite intelligence within your subconscious mind will act in the minds of others, and eventually it will come to pass in ways you know not of. And again, with this story of Mochi, we'll go about it in the video, and you guys can check that out because it's going to be out pretty soon, of the sequence of events, the bridge of events, these different people that we talked to. There was a Siamese breeder. She pointed us in a different direction. Like, all of these things occur, and then now Mochi the cat is chilling right behind me. So anyways, guys, I liked this, this book summary here was great. I love Joseph Murphy's work, and hopefully you guys got something out of this, and maybe like my addition to the story and my story about Mochi kind of helps solidify what he's going for here, what he's trying to teach here, sharing my own experience with that. But in any case, guys, drop me a like if this helped. Leave me a comment. Have you guys had a similar experience? Have you imagined something that you weren't so attached with, but you kind of just imagined it in? Whether it was a physical thing, whether it was a pet, whether it was something tangible is what we're talking about in this experience, but it could even be an opportunity. It could be a result that you got on a test. It could be whatever it is. Have you guys had an experience like that? Imagining the test score on the paper, imagining the people congratulating you, imagining the outcome in a tactile way that's engaging more than just vision, but auditory, a sense, like the sense of touch, maybe even smell. Have you guys used this? How's it worked for you? Drop me a comment down below, hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.